Welcome to Time with Tom. I'm Tom Ruesink. I head up marketing for Cornerstone. These quick video snippets that we're doing gives us kind of the perspective or reaction from different industry thought leaders on what's going on in the travel industry today. So with the pandemic right now, keeping travel management in kind of this constant state of flux, a lot of people in the industry are telling me that they're struggling to plan the next month, let alone the next year. So today I'm here with Mat Orrego. He's the CEO of Cornerstone, which is a leader in travel automation. And for me, I'm eager to find out from Matt kind of what's next for the industry. How does outsourcing and automation really help offset some of that uncertainty, and how travel management companies can really get back to balancing their books this year. So thanks for joining me today, Matt.
Good to be here with you, Tom.
So as far as travel outsourcing, McKinsey did a paper recently where they talked about completely outsourcing the travel function, and that companies may eventually completely outsource travel because it's not a quote unquote core competency of theirs. Do you ever see a complete outsource happening? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I saw the article, and no, I don't see a complete outsourcing, but I certainly see more of it. And I think with this pause that we've taken, in all travel, both corporate, and leisure, but especially on the corporate side, it's made much more. It's given time for the organizations to look at their travel programs and say, hey, how am I going to manage travel going forward? And so, like a lot of things that once you take a pause, you tend to have some time to think about how you're going to approach it strategically. Now, I do think that that outsourcing is going to be a real viable option for many companies, that they're going to take very seriously and move a lot of that travel management expertise over to organizations such as TMCs and potentially organizations that specialize in outsourcing.
Now, with COVID, kind of to follow on to that, COVID has been a game changer, definitely in this industry. And so, how do you think really the COVID recovery will play into outsourcing?
Yeah, so in the COVID recovery, like I was saying, it was really about that pause. I mean, and there's a lot of COVID related issues that travel management and corporations are going to have to deal with as they get back on the road. But I really do see that that COVID has caused a lot of furloughs and unemployment, and there's a huge expertise that I think has left the industry, and I see that through different mediums like LinkedIn, and just personal conversations with colleagues that they've moved on to other industries. So I think that's going to be a major void there, which I think could support outsourcing. In other words, more that consolidation of expertise with these organizations that specialize in travel management that can have a one-to-many, relationship. So I think that's one of the things that COVID is going to expose is that need to find the right expertise, and it's not always going to be hireable.
Absolutely. Now you run a company that deals with travel automation. Can you talk about maybe how travel automation feeds into outsourcing or differs from outsourcing?
Yeah, well, automation, I mean, in the travel industry has always been closely associated with with outsourcing. I mean, in the TMC channel, there's always a decision to do I do this in-house or do I outsource this? I mean, and with the kind of automation we do, we tend to become embedded within our customers' organizations to help them automate, for example, the automation of fulfillment, ticketing, and reservation processing, and all of those things that that our systems help automate, along with information services and such. And then you have the people side of the automation, of that also. So I think it's a bit of a hybrid, that we're going to see more and more of. And as automation becomes more embedded in the workflow of travel, I think companies like Cornerstone are really going to play a much more strategic role with corporations directly, along with, their travel management partners. And we're going to work in a much more cohesive way, regardless of whether it's done internally or externally within those organizations.
Well, I do want to thank you for your time, but before I let you go, I'm going to ask you, I want to ask in these time with Tom's one fun question.
Okay.
Posters in your room growing up, Matt. What was your favorite poster? What posters did you have growing up?
Oh my gosh, posters in my room. I was a big Yes fan, so I had, I went to, Yes concerts
That was my first
early on.
concert.
So I had, posters of, of Yes and rock and roll bands there, and then my dad was in the, was in music. He was a professor of composition at Indiana University, so I had all sorts of posters of things that were his festivals and things that that he put on as an artist. So a lot of music on my wall.
Excellent. Well, good to get to know something a little more about you. So thank you.
Thanks. Good to be here with you, Tom.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye.